next, we got Gallon and ETC, a player that tried to discourage Race from bringing the Highlander Warrior. How funny would it be if ETC went 0-2 this week and like also didn't bring the Highlander Warrior and Race was able to go 2-0? You know, all relegation and playoff spots aside. How amusing would that be? It
would be very amusing.
I'm sure ETC is feeling really comfortable given that all season long he was worried about relegation because of how poor his start was. And now going into this final game, he still has a job going to 2020 as a Hearthstone pro gamer. In the meantime, Gallon coming in hot for Season 2 with high expectations, thinking that he was in the upper half of the region. I talked to Gallon. I said, do you think you can make playoffs? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm definitely in the top half of Americas for sure. And yet, he's criticizing himself and his own plays. He's talking about mentality. I heard last week that he was kind of doing the caster player thing, and he was talking about how hard it was.
Yeah, I was here, and he was just beat at the end of the day. Like because he played the last match on Sunday. When I came off the desk, he was back there waiting, and you could even just tell by his expressions on the camera in his last match of last week. He was every little thing that happened in the game, every little thing that went wrong, it looked like the end of the world. That's what his expression kind of imitated.
Excellent.
He looks much more calm this week. He's back in his home environment. Has to be feeling at least somewhat better, right? And he did end up bringing Highlander Hunter this week.
And
a couple of interesting inclusions in the deck. And despite, if you look at the standings online right now, you look and you see Gallon in 6th place. He does have a chance to qualify for playoffs. He has not played a match yet this week. He can end at 8 wins, and his final match of the week is against Muzzy, that's Muzzy's final match. So there's a realistic possibility that Gallon, if he wins here, would have a head-to-head versus Muzzy for the final playoff spot.
Yep. And locks the door.
And, that could be made more complicated by, what Fireback could do. But he only has 1 match left. He can only finish at 7 wins. So if Gallon finishes at 8, that means he's guaranteed in. So if he wins out, Gallon locks in that final playoff spot because it would be a defeat against Muzzy that would do it.
That's a pretty interesting opening hand. Secret Keeper, Sunny River Spy, Wild Bloodstinger, Zephyr's the Greatest. Wild Bloodstinger, of course, a card for cards like Shirvala for the OTK Paladin, probably less against Control Warrior, but with no secret in hand, this hand doesn't become that threatening. And right off the bat, already a couple of decision points here for Gallon. He could actually challenge this 1-3 with a Zephyrus, but I think Secret Keeper is just too hard to pass up given that there are secrets that you can draw.
Yeah.
It's just that if you can't kill this 1-3, the snap on it is pretty devastating, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, his options from the Zephyrus wouldn't be too terrible. Fairy Dragon would obviously be one of them because Zephyrus loves his curve.
It's a backstab. It's an option too.
Yeah, backstab. Most likely just because you have 0 mana left. Silence could be one, but backstab here could allow him to kill it. He could also, if he wants to give over a decent amount of armor, a little bit more armor, could go for the double Spring Paw.
I like Zephyrus a little bit more, given that I know the hands. And if VTC plays Snip Snap, then he's got really good way to back that up.
He could also coin Zephyrus and be offered Blessing of Might.
Quickly.
Then you don't have Dino Tamer Brand or Unleashed Beast on the coin.
On the coin, yeah.
Got something to hide?
Just an interesting situation overall. Like, Zephyrus...
There's a lot of debates.
Yeah, Zephyrus has options every turn. Every single turn.
Right.
And it's about whether or not you feel that Zephyrus is crucial for the late game in this matchup. Like, trying to get the little bit of extra damage, trying to get that Tyrion. BTC does run double weapons, Project Harrison Jones. Gallon has Eagle Horn Bow, Desert
Your
Spear.
wish is my
Should be an Earth Shock. which is probably what Gallon was thinking. If he goes for a snip snap, Earthshock would shut it down. So now I've successfully gotten ahead of both, and I can keep my Spring Paw. And if so, kept this coin. Really good map out here from Gallon, and now ETC, he can clear it with a double warpath, but that doesn't feel that great, I'd say.
No.
It doesn't feel great because he's giving Hunter the ability to develop, and he doesn't have super good reactive tools outside of Ziliax.
Yeah. Does play a Whirlwind, though, to couple with his double Plague of Wrath, so he has that. And a lot of times in, like, when we saw this matchup more, right, Hunter versus Warrior, you needed some type of removal for the Zul'jin turn, and it was most of the time Warpath, because with the Zul'jin turn, they were most likely capped at 5 health on the board. Warpath just so cleanly dealt with that Zul'jin turn. But now with Warriors just packing so much more additional removal with the Whirlwind, the double Plague of Wrath, the double Brawl, and the Warpath, you can part ways with some of that removal ahead of time and still feel confident that you can muster some up in the super late stages.
All right, well, ETC debating which of these Lynxes he wants to kill.
Gallon's curve is insane.
What now?
Yeah. Coin, Unleash the Beast into Tiamat/Bran. And he has Unleash the Beast and Zul'jin. That is like the winning combo.
He just needs a turn 9 that plays a lot of spells. Like Animal Companion, Mark Shot.
Yeah, and like Rat Trap or some secret.
And a secret, yeah. And that would be like the perfect curve for pressure, at least.
Yeah, honestly, based off the way the tempo. You know, I wasn't expecting that, and
okay. That complicates things.
Yeah, well, does it?
Well, because you could Baron Arrow one of your Lynxes this turn, and then have the coin Dino Tamer Brand into Tiamat turn, into Tiamat sequence.
Yeah. That sounds great.
Yes. But Baron Arrow can also be used. It's a great way to combat Ziliax because it gives less efficient healing over to the warrior. Baron Arrow is the natural predator of Ziliax.
No tomb can hold me.
Ziliaxians.
Yes, Ziliaxians.
Oh boy.
This
Oh
curve.
boy. I mean, you did see a Warpath. The big thing you're considering is Warpath and
Plague of Wrath.
Maybe the Tiamat with the Divine Shield Wind Fury. Your opponent's playing very
Yeah, no, that's I like that a lot actually.
Winds of the South.
The 1-2 punch, and it also is kind of a removal check, right? If ETC expends resources to kill off the Tiamat, that's resources that he won't have to combat the Dino Tamer Brand. And
well, if ETC is super good at Hearthstone, he has a kill on the Tiamat right now.
he has to be the best Hearthstone player in the entire world in order to kill it. He needs the Dino-Matic to hit the Tiamat 5 times.
Light the fuses.
Either way, I think he does it just for the pure damage onto it. Oof. And now, Gallon can actually just go for Unleash the Beast and pressure that way instead of Dino Tamer Brand.
Yeah?
Because Dino Tamer Brand sets himself up for
Plague of
Wrath. Although, he is pushing 20 damage with that.
He could Dino Tamer Brand, hit face once with Tiamat, and then trade.
I wonder.
You'd put him down to 20, and you'd have Dino Tamer Brand plus the King Crush on board, not damaged.
I like also Unleash the Beasts because it also curves into Zul'jin.
Yeah.
Right? So you can Unleash the Beast, Dino Tamer Brand the following turn, or you can Unleash the Beast on 8, Dino Tamer Brand Hero Power, lead into Zul'jin.
Yeah, but then this turn become... Oh, no, he's got both Unleash the Beast. Yeah, you're right.
Not to mention that tracking might be able to give Gallon exactly the way he can finish the game for like a kill command.
Yeah.
Quickly.
It just feels so good.
Because right now, ETC is effectively at 14. If you consider the down tuber, right?
Yes, and ETC is saying, I need a lot of convincing to not Plague of Wrath, but I guess he has Ziliax Shield Slam here, which is actually very good. But he does know about the Unleash the Beast number 2. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I was anticipating a Ziliax Shield Slam for GJ.
Yeah.
But Plague of Wrath is a little bit harder to use.
Yeah, without a Warpath or Whirlwind in hand, I can see it.
Yeah. All right.
Shield Slam also may be hard to use, though.
Dino
so that's
up.
an argument in the other category.
Crack the whip! Or is this actually Gallon considering instead to go for a 5-5?
I wonder.
There's just no way.
Yeah. Oof.
Subject 9 is also very interesting.
He hasn't drawn a single secret so far this game.
He would fill up his entire hand and pump the Zul'jin to the skies. That being said, Eagle Hornbow and Deadly Shot are also very good tools.
Yeah. I feel like Subject 9, though. Eagle Horn Bow, there's 3 sources of weapon in the deck.
the action is.
Woo! Just feels so good.
Oh, if he had gone with the Ziliax Shield Slam play last turn, Dan.
Yes, I am in agreement there. Now,
Dan, you're so smart.
I know. So, when you play a 2 more in this position, are you just freaking out about, well, I guess Ziliax is already played. I was thinking about the removal spells. Deadly Shot already got passed over. Unleash the Beast and Unleash the Hounds. What does that do? Not enough.
Yeah, it lines up slightly awkwardly. Because you get 3 Hounds, he could Unleash the Beast and trade 1 Hound into a Tomb Warden. But then we only have 2 Hounds left, so we can't quite get to the other Tomb Warden to connect face with the King Crush. It's the same situation with Unleash the Hounds plus Kill Command. If only he had 10 mana, he could Unleash the Hounds, Kill Command, Hound Master, and then he'd still be 1 damage off from getting through both Tomb Wardens. Oh,
Yeah,
no, he'd
see-
be able to get through it. He'd be able to push face with that.
Seems to me like Gallon's chewing through this 3-6 with the King Crush. And to be honest, King Crush hitting twice to the face, you're asking for a lot, right? Like, the idea is that it puts a ton of pressure. Whoa, big pickup for ETC. That is huge.
So now he can go Shield Block, Shield Slam, and Ziliax, not Magnetize to kill off the 5-2, and Eternium River goes into a 1-1. That's 7 points of armor gain, 3 points of health gain, and just a 2-4 and a 1-1 remaining on board.
Yeah, saving the Shield Slam Ziliax in this spot ended up paying off for ETC. Although I guess you could argue Plague of Wrath here would still be really good.
Yeah, it would be. Well, he probably would have Plague of Wrath last turn, so I don't know. We're going a little bit too far down the hypothetical situation.
The question becomes, is there too much pressure going the opposite way
Yeah.
when Gallon inevitably plays Zul'jin? And Kill Command is still very effective against Ziliax.
Yeah. So right now, Gallon has Earthshock, Tracking,
Precision.
Unleash the Hounds, Baited Arrow, both Unleash the Beasts as played spells. I imagine it's not a Zul'jin turn. Probably Subject 9. He goes Subject 9, Kill Command, Secret. But Zul'jin does have a, Unleash the Hounds is active, so maybe,
Here comes the bigger.
Yep.
And Urshak has a lot of value here.
Oh, you're right.
Urshak. Woo!
I was actually thinking about that. If he was going to play the Zul'jin, does he want to bump the 2-4 instead?
Hurry.
This is looking bad.
Yeah.
Now you see Zul'jin. Plague of Wrath, but that still doesn't take off nearly enough power onto the board. This might be a Dr. Boom Mad Genius, and pray that you get the Kaboom.
Yeah, he could get the Kaboom, which is the 1 in 5, or he could get Whirlwind or Warpath or Brawl could even suffice. Or even, with this board state, Microbots. So if you play Dr. Boom there, you're taking 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Kill command would be 26.
Yeah, I think he's afraid of dying.
Yeah, that'd be close. That's a lot of damage to take. He would have gone up to this health total plus 7. So he would have gone up to 32, but he would be working with like 4 health if kill command was in the hand, which... And not a guarantee of a clear the following turn. Whereas this can maybe soak up some damage and make Plague of Wrath good by itself.
Yeah, I like using the Unleash the Beast here. I actually was thinking about using Houndmaster in this position too. Given that Houndmaster is like damage that's conditional, but Unleash the Beast translates to direct damage in the face as well.
Yeah.
It'd be very amusing to me if Gallon wins this entire game without playing Subject 9. When he could have had several places to use Eagle Remote and Deadly Shot.
Yeah.
It would have been very amusing. 5/5s are barreling down. ETC does not look like he's in a good position. Arcus Elysiana.
Completely dead.
Very weak draw. And with 17 power on the board, plus the hero power is 19.
Yeah.
Playing Dr. Boom Mad Genius is dead. I think ETC's play last turn was to hope that he would draw a Whirlwind or a Warpath.
What now?
Yeah,
Which was 2 out of 15, which is less than the hero powers for Dr. Boom.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, that's just math.
And if you don't play Dr. Boom that turn, do you ever have a chance to?
Yeah. Like,
from that point
what if
forward?
he drew another Dynamatic and like be able to like play it in Russian or like
Yeah.
Omega Devastator,
Story
right?
deserves a new ending.
ETC gonna look for it.
He's gonna might as well have some fun.
Oh god. Oh goodness. Okay. Goldshire Footman. There's
Well
nothing else that he can do. Gallon has got it. Wait, play the Wild Bloodstinger.
Is there any way for that to backfire? No.
Because then you pull it out and then just hear power face.
Yeah, no. Gallon not interested in fun right now, Dan. He's only interested
All
in
business.
winning. All business. But ETC, it's nice to see, he seems a lot more relaxed now that he doesn't have to worry about relegation, which is cool. Maybe that can open up some opportunities for some more creative plays from him. But very clean game from Gallon. Liked what I saw.
It's true. And also, we were a little bit, criticizing the no Dr. Boom play, but there are other things that he could have gotten to. Like we said, Dynamatic could have helped spray things down, or if you find Brawl. So maybe there's more outs that we're not thinking about that makes his play slightly better through the numbers.
Yep.
But in terms of a definitive board clear, he definitely needs something right there and then.
Yep, and did not find it.
So we're going to take a break for our first game here. When we come back, we're going to go into game number 2 between ETC and Gallon. Stay tuned.
Legends say powerful treasures are hidden everywhere here in Aldum.
If we hope to defeat Rafam, we'll need as many as we can get. He's already unleashed the ancient plague lords and countless monsters. Keep them distracted, Reno.
Not a problem. This plan is totally gonna work. Ain't that right, Finley?
Oh, yes. I have them right where I want them.
There is an artifact here. The name is...
The scales of justice. Oh, it must be really fancy.
only to be used in a time of great peril. Yes, I think this qualifies.
Hey, look, Finley. You've lured one of the Plague Lords.
Take this, fiend.
In the face! Yeah! Hey, guys, get that treasure. We've got a Plague Lord to destroy.
Yes, please, hurry.
Not to worry, Finley. We'll just push this thing right here.
No, that's a trap! Watch out!
It's all good. I am totally tired.
Gracious me.
What we actually need to do is press this. And there.
A
fish.
No. It's the scales of justice.
Ah, who wants to use it first?
Oh, I do. Me. On second thought, maybe give it to Finley?
All you had to do was hold a rope.
Here we go, blaming the tall, ruggedly handsome guy again.
My name is Fei Liang. My handle is ETC. Before Hearthstone, I was playing World of Warcraft, and when I saw Elite Tauren shift, and I think the card is pretty cool, I'm gonna try it. I think the style I like the most is combo deck, because there are a lot of win conditions and there are a lot of ways you can win the game. My son plays Hearthstone sometimes.
Is he good?
He got rank 9. He likes Zoo list.
Are you going to teach your daughter to play Hearthstone?
Yeah, of course.
Do you think that she'll be better than him?
Probably yes, because I think my daughter is way smarter than my boy. Getting #1 in Grandmaster is gonna totally change my life. I think it proved myself, and my kids are gonna be proud of me.
Gallon is up 1-0 over ETC with a really strong Reno Hunter game. It goes to show you what Zul'jin can do with the Unleash the Beast and what Warrior feels like when they don't have that removal. You're forced to kind of pick your poison at that stage. Going into game number 2, we're going to see the reason why ETC chose to protect his Warrior, which is to try and fight back against the Priest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and because of that, I wonder what Gallon's going to try to queue in this one. If he queues Priest, he has a Mirror matchup or Warrior. If he queues Paladin, then he gets a couple of okay matchups and one kind of bad matchup. So I think it's just worth queuing the Priest and trying to get there that way, because Priest, when you're looking at okay matchups for Priest and okay matchups for Paladin, it feels like the okay matchups for Priest are more okay because it's Priest. So Gallon just kind of keeping it simple and saying, yeah, I'm just going to queue Priest for the rest of the series and give myself multiple chances to get a win. Seems like it makes sense to me.
Does make sense to me. Gallon
Hey, I got you, friend.
with a beaming sidekick makes it out of range of a Restless Mummy snipe. This seems really annoying for ETC right off the bat, but he does have some good tools. He's got Spellbreaker, Plague of Wrath, Brawl. These are all really powerful tools.
In the light's name.
Anything that dies just gets brought back with the Psycho Pomp.
Yeah, everything seems decent for Gallon right now. There's not a one card that's a super counter at the moment.
Kind of wonder if this is an opportunity for ATC to drop the Restless Mummy. You can double trade it into things that aren't the Northshire Cleric.
And then roll into a Spellbreaker on the following turn, potentially.
That's one option. Another option is to just Spellbreaker now. But then you're allowing your opponent to potentially utilize things like extra arms, although I feel like they had an opportunity to do that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, extra arms would have brought the Northshire Cleric out of range if he had played it last turn of a Restless Mummy. But Gallon has to know that there is a Spellbreaker there.
What's Gallon smirking about?
I don't know.
He is so pleased with himself.
Yeah. Gallon's kind of a quirky guy. He finds joy in interesting places. Like fringe case Hearthstone scenarios. That's why him and Admirable simultaneously get along so well, but also argue so intensely.
Debate.
Because they get mad at the things that make the other one happy. Because they think that there's an opportunity for them to be happier.
It's true.
Fun dynamic.
Gallon wants to guarantee the Psychopomp to provide the Northshire Cleric. If he trades his 1/3 in. But also walking into a Restless Mummy by doing so.
Injured?
Yeah.
Restless Mummy being able to answer half a card doesn't sound really good on paper, but when you realize that Gallon is just pretty interested in getting card draw going for this Northshire Cleric, it makes total sense. So ETC with the Restless Mummy opportunity here.
What now?
This is not clean. He could isolate the Northshire Cleric, deny card draw.
I mean, he doesn't need it to be clean. He's got two. He got Warpath, Brawl, and Plague of Wrath.
Yeah, that's true.
2 Town Criers. Like he could feasibly also Town Crier the next turn.
Whoa, this is giving an opportunity for Gallon to draw some cards, though.
I must consider.
But it would be at the expense of, like, maybe some development.
I mean, the other option was ETC to trade into the Psychopomp first and then the Northshire Cleric, right?
Or he could have traded Psychopomp into, or traded into Psychopomp and then Beaming Sidekick and isolate the Northshire Cleric.
Yeah.
But with Brawl in hand and no Spellbreaker left.
Oh my.
Quickly.
So now Gallon can Power Word Shield, trade, then circle to draw 2 cards. Or he could do this and draw even more cards. Bump, Power Word Shield, bump, circle is healing, hit face. Interfire is a quite a big resource to expend that way, but if you think about it as you're using it to replace a card, or alternatively keep a minion on board, that's even better.
Oof. That was the worst outcome for a Gallon, I'd say.
Gallon is the king of losing brawls.
Pretty brutal, but by no means game-ending by itself. I think he was hoping for at least the cleric or the light ward to survive.
Yeah.
Hey, I got you, friend.
This does make the Acolyte better against Dynamatic. Another way for ETC to potentially get big board clears.
Also, if, you know, Ward Path protects against Ward Path, kind of protects against Whirlwind Plague of Wrath, because at least you draw one card. Interesting spot for ETC. I mean, he could just pass. Shield block armor at pass. Shield block can be sometimes crucial for the burst of armor to get more value out of Shield Slam in the immediacy. If you pass, you might get Gallon to extend a little bit further onto the board, which makes Ward Path plus Plague of Wrath better. Town Criers are going to become less and less effective as the game goes on. That's a really tough spot, because no matter what you do, unless you just pass, you're giving over card draw to ETC, or to Gallon.
Yeah, I think shield block here is fine. You might get shield slam too.
Yeah, do have that upside. This hand is all removal.
Ooh, Pyromancer Topsy-Turvy.
Yeah.
Flip the Pyromancer.
Nice positioning to set up for Nephroset Ritualist.
Yeah, like you said.
Injured Tolvir Circle of Healing will draw another card and keep everything healthy.
Sure.
I've got more left in
The
me.
closer you can get to other things like Bwansamdi and Omnit, the better.
Yeah, the problem with Bwansambi's is just that it's pretty ineffective right now. It draws a Norshire Cleric. It is a 7/7 though, and I think, you know, still valuable in that sense.
Quickly.
Use it now.
You know, I kind of wondered about this Nephroset Ritualist, to be honest. I understand where Gal was going, but I think with his two injured Blade Masters coming into hand, that's a really good reload, and you're coming up on a Warpath Plague of Wrath turn, and you know your opponent's playing double Plague. So I think I like that play everything up until the Ritualist. Because I think he could have just healed one minion with his hero power.
He could have healed one minion, but it would not have healed. It would have only healed one thing to full, and he could not have healed the Acolyte of Pain to full.
I think I just healed the Acolyte Pain to full.
You could not have healed the Acolyte of Pain to full.
Then I heal the...
Oh no, you could have, because he played Circle of Healing, right?
Hey, I got you, friend.
No, that makes sense. It does force him to have Warpath Plague of Wrath.
Yeah, but he also
of
just kind of took a really long time and passed.
Yeah.
And he's been holding cards on this far left for a long time.
No, that's true. But
since like the beginning of the game, he kept it.
No
he kept that
can
Town
hold
Crier at
me.
the beginning of the game. So let's play
No tomb can hold me.
that. I think Gallon played everything else like really well. All I'm saying is that one last small step.
Yeah.
Which kind of has a cascading effect. ETC probably would have gone for another Warpath Plague of Wrath in that situation.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But if he only heals one to full, then ETC can just Plague of Wrath the first wave. Then he injured Blade Masters plus Nephroset next turn, and then he Warpath Plague of Wraths.
Right. And then I think I'm good with that possibility, because then the injured Blade Masters are in the pool for Resurrections, for Psychopomp.
He's played both.
Someone injured?
He's played both Psychopomps?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm saying he played Psychopomp last turn.
Oh, okay.
So I was saying he would have drawn
the
the Psychopomp. It's a little bit of results-oriented thinking, obviously, but I'm just explaining what my logic is.
Yeah,
now I think ETC just blew this game wide open. I think Gallon has no chance to win anymore.
Even if he draws Bonsama at this stage, it's 7 mana, 7/7. It's a War Golem. It draws nothing. He's played both Beaming Sidekicks, both Light Wardens, both Northshire Clerics.
Yeah.
He used an Inner Fire aggressively. He used a Topsy-Turvy. Does have Divine Spirits left, but he would be all in on a single minion needing to survive in order to win the game.
Yep.
And ETC's at 30.
Quad Warpath. It's pretty straightforward to me. Gallon limping. Only minions left are his big bombs like Wansamdi and his Wild Pyromancer and
Injured Tolvir and
High Priest Ahmed.
Oh, High Priest Ahmed, maybe, but there's just way. There's still a Plague of Wrath left, still a Whirlwind left, still a Brawl left. Then he has to worry about getting through 2 Mordants. Just way too much stuff.
ETC respects Priest a lot, so that's why he brought this Warrior, first protected it, queued it first. He's respecting the Priest. And that is why he's trying to beat it with so much removal. But now we enter the territory where Gal's like, yeah, I didn't really expect to beat that Warrior anyways. I'm going to be ready to beat the other Priest, or I'm going to get ready to beat Shaman. Depending on who you ask, some people feel like the Paladin's a good queue here. But I imagine that Gal's going to queue Priest again, and we're probably going to get a Priest Mirror.
Probably a Priest Mirror, yeah. Also, for just the added benefit, if for some reason ETC mind games himself and ends up queuing Shaman because he thinks it's a better matchup in Paladin,
There's
maybe.
no way.
But there's no way. There's just no way. So we kind of did this a little backwards, where normally we start with the Priest Mirror and fold out from there with the remaining matchups, but because of the Warrior deck that ETC brought, which is almost 100% tuned to beat Priest, outside of like maybe the Archivist Elysiana inclusion, that would be removed for a Militia Commander if literally all you wanted to do was beat Priest with your Warrior deck.
You just put in Mossy Horror just cuz.
You take out like Armageddillo, put in Mossy Horror. You take out...
imagine.
You take... What else could you take out?
Well, if you're going to remove Armageddillo, then you might as well stop playing the top package.
Yeah, you take out the 2 Mordants and you put in...
Another Mossy Horror?
Another Mossy Horror, and you take that out and put in a Zephyrus at that point, might as well.
Second Spellbreaker.
And Execute.
Doomsayer, I don't know.
And then at that point, you might as well just go play Highlander Warrior.
True that. ETC has Northshire Cleric on 1. However, we've seen players avoid doing that. They play Light Warden because of the threat of a 2-mana minion. Being on the play is really important, and you don't want to throw it away just by having a really poor trade of Northshire Cleric into, say, a Wild Pyromancer.
Yep. Wow. So Gallon has a wealth of options. He has Wild Pyromancer and Topsy-Turvy, which is the immediate counter to the turn 1 play if you're on the coin. It gets rid of the punish of health buff plus Inner Fire. But he also has Northshire Cleric plus Beaming Sidekick. But I think you just get rid of this Light Warden as is and use this Wild Pyromancer and the Power Shield and Beaming Sidekick to just completely snowball the board state.
Yep, tempo is good. That's what I've learned over the past couple weeks while playing and watching. Do things that favor the board state in your favor.
Blood players next draw, High Priest Ahmed. ATC will have access to that first, but judging by the current state of the board,
I got you, friend. Is someone injured?
Will likely be playing it from behind.
Yep, tempo good. ETC plays this Injured Blade Master. So you can Power Word Shield the...
Power Shield Wild
actually,
Pyromancer,
hold
you
on.
can heal it up and then value trade over the Injured Blade Master.
Yes, but you also deal a damage to the injured Blade Master. So,
are you thinking a defensive inner fire use?
I was thinking, what if you power shield the cleric? It goes to a 1/4. You heal the cleric, and then you just double bump the injured Blade Master, and then
must consider
instead. But I think so that way you can push damage. I don't know why I want to push damage. It just feels a little more efficient.
Yeah.
The thing about it is that power shield of the Pyromancer keeps all the minions alive, which I think is the best. #1 reason why I want to do that.
Yeah.
I think the play that I was thinking was just getting way too fancy for no reason.
Oh.
ETC is just really far behind now.
Yeah, I mean, Cyclopomp would have been fantastic here 50% of the time, right? Because he has a Light Warden and a injured Blade Master in the Resurrect pool, but doesn't have it, and despite having that one drop on one on the play, it's all about those swing turns. Oh, is that a Nefer set? Whew! So the positioning is, I guess it's not that awkward, because he can always trade in the Beaming Sidekick, Nefer set in the middle, and then Inner Fire.
Yep. Precisely. Missed out on having a cleric being able to draw extra cards, I guess, in the sense of just being late on the draw. I don't think he could have done really much about that.
Yeah, he made a facial expression, which I think was because he may not have needed to trade away the Beaming Sidekick. Because he would have never setted the Beaming Sidekick instead of the Northshire Cleric, but the Northshire Cleric still would have been alive at 1.
Yeah, so
he would have had an additional
he lost a 1/1.
Yeah.
Or 1/2.
Yeah. It would have been a 1/1 at the end because he had to never set rituals first, but he'd have, instead of a 1/2 Northshire Cleric, he'd have a 1/1 Northshire Cleric and a 1/1 Beaming Sidekick.
Must consider.
I don't know, though, because if that's the case, you're more susceptible to Wild Pyromancer plus something. I think it's just it's a preference thing, not necessarily a strict misplay. Just miss 1 damage. Your opponent would be at 23 instead of 24.
Must consider.
The EDC has to go for this injured Blade Master and probably heal it.
Gives Gallon another card, though.
Just gotta fight for tempo. Tempo is what's important here. Look at how many cards Gallon has drawn relative to ETC, though. Yeah.
So you can Ahmet, Northshire Cleric, Circle of Healing. No, you can't do that. That would draw 6 cards. I guess he would have a full hand at that point, but I guess you just start with Northshire Cleric and then, or start with Circle of Healing, and then you can do that play afterwards. Just make the trades on board.
Yep, Light Warden's also good too.
Yeah, picks up Light Warden. It's even better than Northshire Cleric since you're not at risk of your opponent do something crazy with Wild Pyromancer and Circle of Healing to make you roll into fatigue with too many card draws.
This is bad. I think ETC has reason to consider scooping soon.
Yeah. I mean, the Priest Mirrors all hinge on who has that one swing play at the beginning of the game, and Gallon just happened to have it on turn 1 with the Wild Pyromancer coin topsy-turvy. And from that point, ETC never...
Is this potential lethal? So if you injured Tolvir, Circle of Healing, Inner Fire, that's 4 minions. Oh, no, you Inner Fire first and then Circle of Healing. Yeah, this just has to be lethal. There's just no way, TJ.
Yeah. Because that's 8 attack from the Circle of Healing. So that's 11.
Right. So do that.
19, 20, and then an Inner Fire on the Met. That's 26. So you
just play injured Tolvir,
Circle of Healing, and then Inner Fire on the Ahmet.
Yeah. All you need to do is keep the Pyromancer alive. That was the key.
Yep. It's like 29, 31. It's a lot.
Hand is too full.
Gal's gonna take it 2-1. And ETC's season concludes at 4-10. And Gallon is going to continue to play for playoffs at 7-6, equalizing with Muzzy as ETC signs off for Season 2, but he is through, as I believe that there's no way for Strifecode to really tie it because the tiebreaker won.
Yeah, ETC has a 2-0 record over Strifecode on the season, which means that regardless of how they finish, the tiebreaker one always takes precedence, and ETC would move on. So the interesting part for Gallon, though, is that now it comes down to his head-to-head with Muzzy, because they're both currently tied, and they could get to 8 wins. One of them will get to 8 wins.
Yep.
And oddly enough, that I believe that also means no, not quite. There's still one more thing that can happen, but we'll talk about that later on.
Okay.
We'll talk to Gallon first. I heard that Gallon was ready, and I don't want to go down the rabbit hole and keep Gallon waiting.
Sure, you can go down the rabbit hole with him.
Yeah.
Hey, Gallon, are you there?
TJ said he doesn't want to keep me waiting. Did you see what happened last weekend, TJ?
What happened last weekend?
It's not my fault, Gallon.
I know it's not your fault. I was at the studio from 3 a.m. to like 7:30 before we met.
Because you played the last match on Sunday.
Got it.
Yes,
You were visibly shaken on camera. Did you watch that match back?
You know what's funny about that is I always played up a little bit because I want to keep it entertaining for the people watching, because Twitch chat is great and I want them to keep watching, so give them what they want. They want to see players reacting to stuff.
Gotcha. So how do you react to your own win right now, Gallon?
Honestly, this one didn't feel like it matters that much. The most important match this weekend is versus Muzzy. Like, whoever wins that was going to be the one that makes playoffs. Whoever doesn't make it. So this one was kind of chill, honestly. Like, ETC is safe from relegation, so it wasn't like, I felt bad about knocking someone out. And again, the win for me, like, it's not what matters this weekend. So nice win, but overall not that important in the grand scheme of things. Like, we're talking about games where people are fighting for their, like, not their career, but their career for the foreseeable future on the line right now. And meanwhile, I'm just sitting here playing some Prism Mirrors.
Got it.
So,
so what's the decision to bring Reno Hunter again for you?
It's actually based on what Muzzy did last weekend. I knew going into this week that I really needed to beat Muzzy, so I was trying to come up with a lineup that actually worked. And honestly, Muzzy's lineup last week was pretty sweet. There's very few ways of targeting it. If you there's not a normal lineup that targets it, which is like pretty difficult to craft. So I had to go a little bit out of the box, hoping that he'd bring like Reno Mage and stuff like that again. He actually switched it up quite a bit this week. He brought like Zalay Hunter, which is very interesting. Love to see how that works out, but overall, that's why I brought it.
You're not a fan?
Well, what do you think of it? Like, against your well, I guess that's trying to give too much strategy up, but
yeah.
You
always, I always respect everything, even if like on an interview I might say, "Oh, this deck is kind of weird,"
except for Nalgadon.
Yeah, except for Nalgadon.
I heard you lost to him again last week. What happened there,
did.
Gallon?
He had 7 cards in his deck, and then he casted Holy Wrath, and I took 25 damage.
You should have played around it.
Yeah.
I was too passive, Dan. I'm sorry. I was just too passive.
I mean, based on
your words, not mine.
Based on the way the rest of that game went, it seemed like a pretty foregone conclusion that Holy Wrath was going to deal 25.
Oh, yeah.
So, honestly, you should have just been ready for that one.
Gotcha. Gallon, in the event that we don't get to chat with you, let's say Muzzy wins tomorrow, let's just take a moment to reflect on your season. How do you feel like you did?
This season, I kind of want to take like this whole year into account, because it really started like at the beginning of this year when I didn't make it into GM. That really stank. Like, honestly, not getting into Grandmasters really stank. I felt like I gave it pretty much my all in 2018. Obviously, there's always something you could have done better, but I tried really hard in 2018 and didn't make it. So the fact that I'm here now where I'm in Season 2 of GM and like the worst performance I can give is just a 50% win rate against the best players, like in the world / in my region. I feel like this year has gone spectacularly, even if I don't make playoffs. Obviously, I really want to make playoffs. I would like to make worlds. It's kind of like the dream for anyone trying to become a competitive Hearthstone player. And it's still in sight. It's not there yet. It's not even close, but I already made it pretty far. Just got to make it a little bit farther, you know.
What would you give your casting performance?
Well, last week was tough, man. I was exhausted by the end of it. I think it was like there's some games that went really well, some that was just like, well, what am I talking about? Like, you go back and watch, it's like this just doesn't make sense. But B, I'll give it a B.
All right, what's harder?
What's
casting
harder
or playing?
I think it depends. Casting with Admirable is easy, but having to cast with TJ Dan, that must be really tough.
It's true. Thanks for joining us, Gallon. Congrats on the victory. We'll see you tomorrow and hopefully chat then.
All right. See you, Dan. See you, TJ. Have a good one, guys.